Princess Marion, Tarwater's uncle, had been dead for only half a day when the boy got too drunk to finish digging his grave, and a Negro named Buford Munson, who had come to get a jug filled, had to finish it and drag the body from the breakfast table where it was still sitting and bury it in a decent and Christian way, with the sign of its Savior at the head of the grave, and enough dirt on top to keep the dogs from digging it up. Buford had come along about noon, and when he left at sundown, the boy, Tarwater, had never returned from the still. The old man had been Tarwater's great uncle, or said he was, and they had always lived together so far as the child knew. His uncle had said he was 70 years of age at the time he had rescued him and undertaken to bring him up. He was 84 when he died. Tarwater figured this made his own age 14. His uncle had taught him figures, reading, writing, and history, beginning with Adam expelled from the garden and going on down through the presidents to Herbert Hoover and on in speculation toward the second coming and the day of judgment. Besides giving him a good education, he had rescued him from his only other connection, old Tarwater's nephew, a school teacher who had no child of his own at the time and wanted this one of his dead sisters to raise accordingly to his own ideas. The old man was in a position to know what his ideas were. Eventually, Raver, the school teacher, had discovered where they were and come out to the clearing to get the boy back. He had had to leave his car on the dirt road and walk a mile through the woods on a path that appeared and disappeared before he came to the corn patch with the gaunt two-story shack standing in the middle of it. The old man had been fond of recalling for Tarwater the red, sweating, bitten face of his nephew bobbing up and down through the corn, and behind it the pink, flowered hat of a welfare woman who had brought along with him. The corn was planted up to 2 feet from the porch step, and as the nephew came out of it, the old man appeared in the door with his shotgun and said that he would shoot any foot that touched his step, and the two stood facing each other a while. The welfare woman bristled out of the corn like a peahen upset on the nest. The old man said if it hadn't been for the welfare woman, his nephew wouldn't have taken a step, but she stood there waiting, pushing back the wisps of dyed red hair that were plastered on her long forehead. Both their faces were scratched and bleeding from thorn bushes, and the old man recalled a switch of blackberry bush hanging from the sleeve of the welfare woman's blouse. She only had to let out her breath slowly as if she were releasing the last patience on earth, and the nephew lifted his foot and set it down on the step, and the old man shot him in the leg.